So come on in. Sound check done. Let's begin. Breaking news. The guess is you. Streaming live for you to view. Open House the podcast. Open House the podcast. Oh.
I am yelling, but I'm not. Oh, look what you did things.
Oops.
You did things.
Let me fix this.
Yeah, you fix this. This will be good. I want to see.
All right.
All right, we did good.
Now.
Yeah, no, you did pretty good. Welcome to Open House of the podcast. I am Johnny Awesome, my co-host.
And I am Summer. Thanks for joining, guys.
Is that how we want to do this show today?
No, I think you should fix
With
this.
blinking? Yeah, so I am, oops, wrong button. I'm trying to fix this as fast as I can. Summer set the whole thing up this morning. You did a good job, Summer.
Thank you.
I liked it. It was good. We'll do this and we will do this. You want to be on the left side today?
Yeah.
How is it that I was able to do this and you are not able to do this? That's what I want to know. Either way, don't get us too distracted here, Summer, because today I have a show that I've been wanting to do for a really long time.
Oh, I'm excited.
And I'll tell you what, you are a square.
Yeah, I know. I see that.
I'll tell you what, it's interesting because this show that we're about to do today is a show that I've wanted to do for a really, really long time. And some people might not know this, but before I had the other podcast, Free for All Friday, even I had another podcast, and I had been trying to start one. We're going to call that good enough for today.
I like it, yeah.
I had another podcast, and we is it my orange face?
No, we're good.
What?
I accidentally exited what you did, but I put it back.
Okay,
All
good.
Right. Sorry for the distraction. So what were you saying?
Hands off the keyboard now, so that
we're
nothing
done.
gets screwed up.
Yeah.
All right, good. Do you see you on your end? Because I don't see anything on my end still.
Oh yeah, we're both on for my end.
From on your end?
Yep.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Because this is what it looks like on mine. Do we want to maybe check?
Let me help you here.
What?
I think if you just click that light blue area next to our camera. Do you see us now?
No.
So
there we go. I got it. Good.
Okay,
All right. Don't
okay.
touch a thing.
okay, yeah. I won't.
I don't want to touch a thing. It has literally only been a week. And me and Summer feel like we've never podcasted before in our
I
lives.
know, it's crazy.
Everything getting it back on track.
Yeah.
But speaking of on track, because I'm just trying to figure out where you're going to be down here. Is that what you're going to be? All right.
Yeah,
All right. Because we have a tendency to get off track.
Yeah.
Today, I wanted to make sure that we stayed on track because I have a topic that I've been wanting to do forever. And I'll tell you, I've run this by the last two people I've done podcasts with, and there was mixed reactions because in real estate, especially when it comes to brokerages and teams, there is a marketing. How can I put this? There's a very scammy way that real estate agents advertise themselves. And I've been wanting to talk about all these different things that I've collected through the years and how they work and kind of unveil a little bit of the behind the scenes secrets when it comes to real estate teams and brokerages. But I got 86th on it for the last two podcasts.
No, I actually I know where you're going with this because you and me, we have this telepathic thing.
Yeah.
But no, I'm totally game. Talk about it.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about that. Some of it even revealing our own little secrets in there.
Yes.
And again, I wanted to make sure because we got so much to happen that we stay on topic. But I wanted to start out with talking about, do you have a favorite mint?
Like a lifesaver mint?
Oh, yes. If that's is that your
I do.
favorite? Like Lifesavers are your favorite mints? Like
Yeah,
peppermint.
they're really good.
Is that your favorite mint? Did you just name it, or did you ask about that?
No, I like the spearmint flavor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, like anytime I see them, I always take one because like businesses will put them out in a bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love them.
So I had one of those marshmallow mints before I got in here. You know what I'm talking about? They're soft and kind of.
Oh yeah.
I hate those. They're my least favorite mint.
Not great.
And that led me to remember when I was a kid, we used to eat at this little Italian restaurant. And maybe you know the name of this. If not, this whole thing is only to ask if somebody could tell me where I can get these mints.
Yeah.
There used to be a restaurant. It was called the Italian Oven. I think they might even be a couple still around, but I haven't seen one forever. And it was a neat little restaurant where they would bring you a tray of all the toppings and you'd make your own pizza, and then you could watch the chef put the pizza in the oven. Have you ever been to one of these? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And you could play tic-tac-toe with the chef and stuff because we had markers on both sides of the glass.
Oh, that's cool. No, I haven't seen like a tic-tac-toe or anything, but I've been to restaurants where you watch the chef make the pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like that, but it was very interactive. Like it was all glass. They had markers. You could write messages back and forth to the cook while they were cooking your food. But at the end, they used to pass out these mints, and they were my favorite. There were these little tiny green gummy type drops, but they weren't gummies. They were a little bit harder than a gummy, and they had this mint flavor to them that was just one of the best.
They were chocolate?
They were not chocolate. They were mint flavored. They were green. They were a little tiny dot, and it was
like a
do
little
you know what I'm talking
dot?
about? Yeah. Like, I
It sounds kind of familiar, but my brain keeps going back to those Andes mints. Those are
I
really
love
good.
those. Yeah,
those
but
are good.
those are chocolate and mint.
They are, yeah.
So anyway, to get back on topic, I wanted to know if you had ever heard of those because I've been looking for those forever, and that is definitely something that
I'll keep my eye out.
I want to try. Thanks. Let me know if you find any, or if anybody happens to know what I'm talking about. Those little tiny green chewy wax. They're it's almost like waxy. Like, have you ever had beeswax? You just ate a piece of wax? No? That's a thing people do. It's not weird.
No,
Yeah.
but I mean, yeah, I get it. I'll definitely keep
Have
an
you
eye
ever
out
eaten
for
one of
you.
those little root beer? Do you remember the root beer candies that had the little root beers inside of them, and when you chew on it, it was like a wax? Did you ever have those?
Yeah, now I know what you're talking about.
Got
okay.
it. This was like that, except
Yeah.
for it was a dot and it was mint flavored.
Okay.
That's what it was.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen those.
Yeah, they were good. So anyway, that being said, me and you have both started journeys in different paths, and you said you wanted to talk about this. I think we should talk about it right up front in the beginning of the hour. Can you super excited for it?
I am. I'm excited.
All right. So what's going on in your world now that you've entered the world of real estate?
Oh, what's going on in my world? Oh my goodness. I joined a new team. I've joined Stewart Team Real Estate Partners. And my world has been crazy in the most positive way. Working with Kevin Stewart has been awesome. Working with the whole team there, completely awesome, mind-blowing. Like the change in my day-to-day life and how more positive I feel about it. And I just feel like I'm really on the right track. And I was in a helicopter.
No way!
On
What? You got into a helicopter?
So we went to this golf tournament, and I joined Kevin, and there was some clients there and like friends and all types of stuff. And I kind of came last minute, and someone asked me, they said, "Would you like to do a ball drop?"
Okay.
And so I was like, "Do you know what that is, Johnny?"
Well, I do. Do you?
On a golf course?
No, I'm assuming it's what it sounds like, though.
Yeah.
But I don't know why they would do this. So tell me about
I
this.
didn't know really what that meant. I was like, yeah, I'll do a ball drop.
Okay.
And then we finish the course. We drive up, and there's a huge helicopter.
This is the
sitting
best.
in the
I
middle
can't
of the
believe this
field.
already.
And I was like, oh my gosh. So I am afraid of heights.
Yeah, you are.
You know that about me.
Yeah.
I all of a sudden, so I'm like, don't back out. And I said yes, right? At the beginning. So they were like, okay, she's doing it. I'm meeting the pilot. We're running around looking for all the balls. And the whole time I'm like, okay, cool, yeah. But like on the inside, I was like freaking out. I was like, what did I just get myself into? But
Yeah.
also extremely excited. I was like, I don't want to back out
Yeah,
of this.
yeah.
Like, this is kind of cool. So basically what you do is you go up in the air and there's a whole basket of balls. And this whole event was like, charity and all sorts of things. So people had put money on each ball and stuff like that.
No way.
So when you drop the balls over the hole,
Yeah.
the ball that's closest to the hole, or obviously if it goes
That
in,
is awesome.
they win.
That's awesome.
So I was so nervous, and at this point it was just me and the pilot, and I had just
Yeah.
met the pilot.
Yeah.
So Kevin comes around, and I'm like, "Hey, Kevin, can you please come with me, please, 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 please?" I was like, "I'm so scared, I'm freaking out." I was like, "Can you please come?" And he was like, "Yeah, of course I'll come. Don't worry about it." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that was easy." So anyway, me and Kevin, we go up in the air in the helicopter. I had no door, Johnny.
Yep. Were you holding on to the side rail like with your life?
I was so scared, and
Or
then
were you pretending that everything was cool?
I was holding on to the rail, and then I was like kind of holding. I also had a big basket of golf balls in my lap, so I was also holding on to the balls because, God forbid, I dropped those balls when it wasn't time. Like the whole thing would have
I
been
can just,
destroyed.
you know what's funny? Because I've been around you for so long, I can see you just sitting there with the smile on your face, but inside, like your mind is just going like, don't fall out, don't drop the balls. How do I carry this? Like you were probably
Exactly.
so freaked out you didn't get a chance to enjoy the experience.
Seriously. So like at the beginning, that's what it was. We're up in the air, and the pilot was giving me some instructions on like how to do it. And so he was like, drop one ball at a time once we get up there, just so
Really?
we can find the angle. He
Oh,
says,
interesting.
all that I want you to say is forward, backward, left, or right. And I was like, okay, I got this. Like, I got this. I'm not going to mess this up.
Oh.
And I did. I gave him some instruction, and then I dumped the balls, and one went in the hole. And I was like,
What? You
Yeah.
did it.
it was a cool experience.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous of you. I've always wanted to be in a helicopter.
Really?
It's
So
one of
that's
my
what I was
things.
telling you I wanted to tell you about.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe the success principle you could pull out of that one is like,
Well,
even if something like,
Yeah.
even if it's like completely terrifying or, whatever, it's something you usually wouldn't do. Like, I'm afraid of heights. That's
Yeah.
not my jam.
But let me ask
at
you a
all.
question. Are you glad that you did it now?
Oh my gosh, so glad.
Isn't that interesting?
Yep. And then after I had dropped the balls, all that kind of anxiety, because I got so excited.
Yeah.
Because when I seen how well it was,
Yeah.
it all kind of went away. And then
Yeah.
by the time we landed, I literally had one plane out of the helicopter.
You had, what's that? You had what?
One leg. Like, I kicked a leg out. Like, if you're driving a Jeep
Oh, yeah,
that has
yeah.
no doors, you kick
Yeah.
your leg out.
Yeah.
Well, I did that.
You were all comfortable all of a sudden, just hanging. That's funny.
Yeah, it
Now,
was
so
cool.
here's the bigger question: would you ever do it again?
Absolutely, yeah.
See, there's the principle right there. The interesting thing is, and I think we've talked about this before, maybe not on the show, but in person for sure. People aren't usually afraid of the actual thing. They're afraid of what they think the thing is going to happen. You're not actually afraid of heights. If you look up and something's high on the ceiling, you're not going, right?
Yeah.
You're afraid of falling out of an airplane.
Right.
But now that you had the opportunity to push through your fear, and you could see that not only could it be safe, but you actually became comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Now you know that there was nothing to fear this entire time. In fact, you threw stuff out of the thing. You know what I mean?
I was hanging out of it.
You were hanging out of it by the end.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it was super cool. I couldn't wait to tell you about that.
I am so. Do you have video of this?
Of course. I'll show you.
Oh, put it on our Facebook page. I want to
I
see
will.
it. I want to see it so bad.
I will.
I love that. That makes me so happy in so many different ways. And like I said, the best thing about that is the principle of, the other thing is that pushing through your fear when you're afraid to do something. Now, again, the fear mechanism was designed on purpose. You probably, if you see a cougar out in the wild, right? You probably shouldn't just attempt to go pet it. You need to figure out whose grandma it is and where they know.
Right.
But like you get this fear about you, like maybe I shouldn't just walk up to the wild animal that's hissing at me. That's okay. But a lot of times we let fear block us. And think about people that live in fear and they're afraid of all these worst case scenarios and they never get a chance to experience life. You had an experience that most people would never have. Most people never even been up in a helicopter.
Yeah, I feel like so grateful that now, like that's something that I conquered. 'Cause, like,
Yes.
how cool that I did it now instead of just waiting out more of my
It's the
life
best.
until I conquer it. You know.
And what makes me so happy is now when we go bungee jumping, you'll be
Now
all
you
right.
have no. If I try to say no, you're like, there's no way.
There's,
You're like, no way, Summer. You hung out of a helicopter.
you were out of a helicopter.
come
You can
on.
jump off the side of a mountain.
All I had was also, I didn't realize it's the same as just like a car seatbelt.
Oh, you were actually buckled in.
Well, yeah, I
Okay,
had. You
well,
gotta
good.
have on a seatbelt.
I don't know.
But I don't know. For some reason,
I've
I
never
thought you'd
been
be
in
like,
a helicopter, Summer.
Well, I
I don't know
thought
how
you'd-
it works.
Don't you think maybe you'd be strapped up like this, like a rocket ship? That's what I expected.
I've never been in a rocket ship, so I don't know how they strap up.
Well, when it was just like the seatbelt, I was like, "Is this safe?" But
Yeah.
obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
it's
Well,
safe.
you're in a helicopter. It just goes up and down and forward
Yeah,
and backwards, in all sorts of directions. So that's so cool. I'm so glad you got a chance to do that. That's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And real estate's going good for you now, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
You've got actual business happening and
Yep.
things are moving and grooving.
Oh my gosh, yeah, nonstop every day.
That's
I
really
love
good.
it. It is. It's a good time. How about you though?
Things are going well. It's I'm in the same boat as you. When you get thrown into a team, you're like, and I think we mentioned this 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago we were together.
Yeah.
It's a lot, and sometimes you have to take the time to just stop. And it's interesting because right now I've had, and we're going to talk about this as one of the things that people say a lot, but there literally was so many leads coming in, I had to stop lead flow coming in because I couldn't effectively keep up with all the things that were going on plus the day-to-day. And you got to remember, the idea here for me and my goal is different than the average agent that comes on. You want to do it full time. I'm doing this as a not an experiment, but as a way to show that the basics work while earning extra income on the side that can supplement and then fill in the blanks in the meantime while launching a coaching business and all the other stuff, right? So it's really interesting because I found myself getting so drowned with stuff, but it was really fun too because one of the things that's interesting about the team that I'm on is it's almost like I had this thought the other day. It's almost like a mega agent starter kit. So when I walked in, I'm judging everything from month to month, and this is one thing I think everybody should do. So I officially joined the team one day before the team's meeting. So we have our team meeting, and it was just last Thursday. So I show up to this team meeting, and it gave me a chance to kind of gauge where I was in the month period, and then keep gauging how I'm doing and using this as the kind of the measuring stick of how business is going. What's really neat is I didn't realize, like, I walked in there feeling like, man, I've written 3 different deals. We've had a bunch of them fall through. I get, I'm on the same boat as other real estate agents.
Yeah.
It was really fun walking into a couple of showings and seeing cards from agents that I have trained and agents that I knew, and I would shoot a message out to them. I'd be like, "Hey, I saw your card. It's pretty cool, to be
Yeah.
out there."
Absolutely.
But also to go through the same struggle and strain. I mean, you've got all these buyers that you're working with. You're putting offers in. Your offers aren't getting accepted. They're getting frustrated. You're wondering why. And then to step back and be like, well, it's only been a month. And to have the offers in that I've had so far. But the neatest part was because of how the Mark Z team works, they have this showing partners aspect of it. So once the team meeting was done, I had 4 or 5 agents walk up to me, and each one of them is currently, we're working on a deal together with somebody else that they're showing homes on my behalf. And we had our own little huddle at the end. And it was neat because I didn't really know who any of them were in the very beginning. But after this meeting, hey, you're Johnny, I'm this person, we did this and this. And it was really neat because you had your own little tribe of people like right off the start,
So these were people who were doing showings for you?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So it's like,
So like for your client, right?
yes.
Okay.
Yep. So like, it's really interesting because the average, how somebody would normally start a team, you start with one, then you bring a buyer's agent in, then you bring, and you build it slowly. Being able to be plugged into a team that provides that, like I said, it's kind of like a quick starter kit to the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you pay for that? Yeah, you pay for it because you didn't have to go through the 5 to 10 years that you're going to put it together.
Right.
But it's a really neat way of how the community was built. And so for that, I've been super appreciative. And it is a neat process on how everything works.
Wait, that's really cool. So what did you start out? What did you say? It's
Oh, it's like a mega agent starter kit.
a mega agent starter
Yeah,
kit. No,
yeah.
I like that. I honestly, I agree. That's awesome.
You walk in, you've got 10 agents already there to show all your appointments. You know what I mean? Or plus. I'm working hands-on with about 5 of them right now. And like I said, having the little huddle afterwards and, talking to them throughout the month. And it's like, it's really neat. It's a different way to do the whole team thing.
Yeah.
I have never seen it played out like this before. And I was pleasantly surprised. And the more that I hang out, I had a different viewpoint and opinion of how the Z team ran. And we were one of those, the previous team that, the previous team that I was on. One of the things that we always used to tell people, and I used to hear people say is, well, if you got a newer agent, send them to the Mark Z team. And it's funny being on the inside now. Yep. Is that true? Yes, they could take the newer agent and instantly get business for them, right? However, Mark guy came up and he did an amazing meeting. In fact, if I can get you the video to it, I think you'd be inspired too. I think everybody would be inspired by his video. He showed a picture of himself though, that he probably won't put it online, or maybe they did. I don't know, but it was a great. It was great, and he just started the meeting by asking why people are okay with being broke, and it was a fantastic meeting. But he was saying their team is a team for ballers, and that's all he wants. So they're really cracking down on the idea that you can just kind of sit there all day. Yep. They don't want people that are just going to sit
and do nothing.
Mm-hmm. They only want people that are going to come in and actually work. And the reality behind this is one of the things we're going to talk about. The reality behind this is because there's so many teams, and this is one of the things, in fact, I'll just jump into it. This is so many things that brokers have said to agents, and these teams have said to agents to kind of position themselves as if they are these large, teams. And one of them, and we hear this all the time, I know you've heard this before, is we've got so many leads we can't handle them.
Yeah.
The first time I ever heard that, I was working with a Keller Williams agent. I'm not going to name who they were, but it's always been the same thing. These teams, these agents, these brokerages that have so many leads that they can't handle them. They're a lot of the times we're talking about a past database that is 10 years old.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm so happy you touched on.
Yes. Listen, I'm going to peel back the curtain.
Yeah.
Those are not leads. Okay. I know that
like there might be some good ones in there.
There's no
maybe,
different. Listen,
but like I totally agree. If these are leads that you're giving out to your agents and you promise that they would get business from them, like they have to be
leads.
They have to be a certain kind of lead.
We're going to talk. So I don't even want to say, okay, let's define them as fresh lead versus regular lead. Let me ask you a question, and let's just use logic. And this is how I view a lot of these teams that are using this for agents, right? If I were to sit down with you and I went online, or let's just say I went on eBay or found somebody that still had a White Pages book, right? A book with phone numbers listed in it. If you came into my office and I handed that to you and I said, here's 400,000 leads for you, would you be like, oh yeah, that's legitimate, those are real leads?
Yeah,
of course not.
Not at all.
But for some odd reason, as real estate agents joining teams, we've accepted the idea that somebody's old database that they haven't reached out to since 2029,
right?
2029.
2029.
So, I'm from the future.
Like 2015.
Yeah. Or even before.
Like 10 plus years, you have not touched these
right,
leads.
Right.
I don't know who you are.
They're not at the house. They're still not at the house. You didn't ever have a right phone number for them. Those aren't leads. Okay. Mm-hmm. Those are just names with phone numbers, right? A fresh lead is somebody that says, hey, we're interested in looking at a house. We're interested today at looking at a house, And for some odd reason in our industry, we've accepted somebody else's old database. Now, again, like you said, could it be that there's somebody in there today in an old day? Absolutely. Is it worth it to go through and fish through those? Absolutely.
No, we live in a whole new world too.
Yeah, but you can still find stuff if you have nothing better to do. But It's going to be a long road, right? And why do most agents join teams? They join teams so that they can get assistance and help, right? And so that they can plug into a system that is proven so that they get off the ground running a lot faster than if they were to do it solo.
Right.
And so because of that, by handing somebody all the Zillow leads that never converted from 20 years ago when you first bought them, right? It's not actually helping that person progress any. You're wanting to give them a lead. Hey, Bob said he wanted to see this house today, like, let's go out and see him. That is a lead.
Yeah.
If it's not, it's just in your database. So it's your past database. That's one of the things I want to get off my chest because man, do I hear that. In fact, here it is right here. I read this article and then I started to pull all these together of what are some of the top ways that brokerages misrepresent themselves to bring people on. Mm-hmm. And that's number 2. We generate more leads and traffic than everybody. The other thing that I would say too, like, we need to define the lead. And if you're looking for a team or a brokerage to go to, or if you're currently wondering if your team or brokerage is the right place for you, you need to define where this lead is at. There's top of the funnel leads. Do you know the funnel system? Are you aware of top of the funnel, middle, and bottom? So a lot of these leads are top of the funnel, maybe middle of the funnel. They're not ready to go yet. They're 9 to 16 months down the road. If you're oh man, I saw an advertisement for this today too. Guys, this drives me nuts. These fly-by-night companies that say that they can generate all these leads for you and that they finally got the secret sauce and stuff like that. I got a text message from one of these companies today, and they're all doing the same thing. They're still running old Facebook ads, right? And the quality of the Facebook ad person today has really gone to the wayside. The last research that I showed through Facebook is the only people that are really quote unquote falling for it nowadays are usually in a little bit older demographic. They still haven't caught on. The slick young buyer already knows that if they're seeing a house on Facebook and they click on it, they're probably going to be contacted. You know what I mean? They're not confused about the process. They understand it. And because of that, they choose not to click it. What they're doing is they'll just search for it on Google, or they're going straight to Zillow, right? Facebook leads are so far down the line, and I think I told you this to you. So what are you going to do to fill in that middle time? Can you sit and wait 9 to 16 months, collecting leads from Facebook, which are good leads, by the way, to wait for them to actually need to do something? Can you actually wait that long without getting leads today? And when you're considering who you're with and or who you're going to, that's one of the things that you need to consider. Do they have business for you today? The team that you went to, they had business for you. Like the day that you got started, you were like, hey, I got an opportunity to get business that day. And I was super happy for that. That's great. That's true team support right there. I'm trying to figure out how to word this so that, because I really have a lot of respect for this guy, but I remember there was one person that I worked for, and his whole idea was, all I need to do is hire agents and have them do close transactions. So his thought was he needed to hire 4 agents, because if he had 4 agents that he brought in and each one of them split with him 50% and each one of them closed 1 transaction, that means that he's making an extra 100% versus what he was doing. That's how he did the math, which is correct. So, 4 deals, 4 different people, 50% each. Instead of getting 100% of one deal, he's getting 50% of 4, so he is doubling his business. He offered zero support to these agents. The only thing he offered was this past database of people that they had to call, right? Because it was that whole, in order to be on the team. He didn't offer signs or cards. In fact, he would order their cards and then charge them for it out of the commission.
Yeah, that's highly very disappointing to hear.
Yes.
Because that's not right, I don't think.
But here's the thing. It's not that it's not right. I was talking to these 2 ladies. They had come up here from Florida. It's not LPT, by the way, and it's not EXP. When I heard, and this is what got me to rethink about this episode, the first thing they said is, and I can't even remember the name of the real estate company, but they said, we came up here for UWM was doing a thing, and they said, we came up here because we're the #1 real estate company in Florida. And I was like, I've run into like 3 or 4 companies so far that said that they were the #1 and fastest growing. LPT, I believe, I haven't checked the numbers, but I hear more about LPT growth down there than anybody else, right? I know EXP had a presence. A lot of people went to LPT, but there's a lot of individual brokerages down in Florida as well. And when she named her brokerage, I'd never heard of it.
Yeah.
And here's the crazy thing. Are you ready for this? I was mind boggled by this. She said that their brokerage is essentially instead of paying a percentage of your commission every year, what they do is they just write a check. So you pay a one lump sum amount to join this brokerage, and the brokerage doesn't supply you with anything. Okay. And she goes, a lot of these teams, but they start out at 100% split. This is where people don't think about this stuff. So they're telling me about how great this number one brokerage is. They pay, and I think it was like $6,000. Okay. They're paying like $6,000. They write a check, but they get 100% of everything that they sell. They don't have any support, which is why they were currently up here at UWM. And she actually admitted that. She said the one thing that would be nice is, like at the KWs of the world, there's training and support. Mm-hmm. Well, here there's no training or support. You're your own business. But I like that because I get 100% of everything that I do. Okay. No leads are provided. No signs are provided. There's absolutely nothing provided. You're just paying somebody to hang your license under them, and everything is on you.
To me, it sounds like there's so many different, so there's different types of agents, right?
Yes.
So obviously an agent that's newer, someone who doesn't have like a good standing already or a whole database, clients that are just calling them, like they don't even really have to prospect anymore because people just call them and refer them out.
Yeah.
Because they've been doing this for a really long time and they've built a lot of trust with a lot of people. So like maybe someone like that, maybe they could see or find a benefit there, but to like the other group of agents, people like me per se, I haven't been in the industry for a huge amount of time, but I've definitely I know what I'm doing, blah, 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 but I need support. Like I need more support. So it would make actually no sense at all for me to write $6,000 check because I'd be like, oh no, well, I'm already in debt.
So but we are. So, the way caps work is you pay it off slowly, right?
Yeah.
The thing that was really interesting about this is the one girl had only been in for like 2 months, but she was so excited about it. But the thing that she said was, well, she doesn't have a lot of support. And you're right. There are certain agents out there, and I've always said, I actually know an agent, and I was like, I don't even understand why you're with the brokerage that you're with. Why not just go out and be your own broker? Well, she doesn't want to take the reliability. All right, cool. Well, there's that. You'd be able to keep 100%. Yeah, there's liable. But unless you're really just wanting to be stagnant in your business and you just want to kind of just stay where you were, even the older agents, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So you get to keep 100%, but you get no support and you have no other lifeline that's coming in. They don't even provide these guys with a CRM. I don't know. Like, I don't know how you're really surviving today. In fact, I already know the answer to it. You're not surviving really well, and you haven't been for a long time if you don't have a CRM that you're putting your people into. I meet with agents all the time. That CRM database management is one of the key things that I do. And every single time I meet with somebody that has, over 1,000 people in there and they haven't touched it, they have all these contacts on their phone. None of them are in the computer, and they are literally losing so much money because they don't know, they can't keep up with everybody. You can't. Back in the day when real estate was, you were the only broker in town and nobody else, they all just came to you, it was one thing because you didn't have to remember everybody, but there was also not as many deals. Today, the average real estate agent needs to have at least, depending on where you want to be in the business, but when you look at the research and the numbers, you have to have at least 10,000 people in your database that's somehow being cultivated for you to be able to get a good number at the end of the year. You know what I mean? And if you don't have a CRM that you're putting them into, I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, there's no way to, keep up with everybody unless they're all in one place. Like if you're leaving them and someone's here, I message them, I text this person, or I go on social media and I message this person. You're going to forget, somewhere something that you were supposed to schedule or you're supposed to follow up. Like it's just not that easy.
No, it's not. And it's interesting because we think that we can remember, and some of us have really good memories. But again, I've run into agents that told me that before. Everything's up here. And then sure enough, we'll start talking and, oh, I forgot about this person or that person. And you forget about enough people, it's death by 1,000 paper cuts, right?
Oh my gosh,
Eventually you've really done yourself a disservice.
Absolutely.
So it's interesting because on the side of we generate more leads, or our team has more leads that we can handle, this was really interesting because this came up that we have more traffic than anyone. And I thought this was really interesting because Homes.com was running an ad that stated that they had more traffic than any of the other competitors out there. And the Realtor CEO actually called them out and stated that this was actually deceptive because they were counting external traffic and they were inflating numbers. And Zillow used to do this back in the day. Zillow used to tell people that they have more people registered on Zillow than, and what it was is if you were in the database at all, like even if you were like renting your house and you ended up in there, Zillow counted you as somebody that was searching on their platform. And so it was just a way that they overinflated the numbers. The Homes.com thing is really interesting because have you seen their recent advertisements? Homes.com is the best.com. I think it's brilliant because I think what they've done here is they've actually come out and basically created an ad making fun of that they got in trouble for having deceptive advertising, but at the same time, they're getting around the whole thing. So they've got Morgan Freeman, and Morgan Freeman is like, you should shop Homes.com because Homes.com is the best. And the attorney's at the table, and the attorney's like, you can't say that. You can't say it's the best. And this other guy's like, but we bought the domain. Homes.com is the best.com. So since it's a domain and they're making satire, it works. I think it's hilarious, but it is what it is.
Yeah, no, I like it.
This is really interesting. Brokers out there talk about their revolutionary technology and how it makes you more money. I've never heard of this brokerage before. It was called Rex. They had they had something out there that would somehow find the perfect buyer. And the National Association of Realtor actually said that it was misleading because they were relying on Zillow's infrastructure and the MLS feed. There was nothing proprietary about what they were doing. Again, I've never heard about them. I don't know about this case, but I have been through several brokerages, big brokerages too, and they've stated that they were going to come out with this. I remember when Gary got out on stage and said that Keller Williams was no longer a training company. Their slogan used to be, we're a training company that just so happens to sell real estate. And in 2016 at Family Reunion, Gary got out there and said, hey, we're now a technology company. We're coming out with KW Command. It's going to be the best ever. I've talked to agents since then. Apparently, it's still not one of the popular CRMs. People hate it. It currently still sucks, is what I've been told. But it'll be interesting to see where people go because brokers keep coming out with all of this stuff saying that their tech is the best. And everybody still, from my viewpoint, from where I've seen things, I've talked to tons of agents and brokers around the nation. Everybody still ends up falling back with a regular CRM, Follow Up Boss being one of the most popular. It's really interesting how that's happening. It's interesting.
Yeah, I just joined Follow Up Boss. I absolutely love it. I use it every day.
You got it? Kevin's team's got Follow Up Boss out there?
I use it every day.
It's the
love
best.
It. I message all my clients from there.
Yep.
And someone else on the team, her name's Molly, she's been helping me a lot with it too. And she told me she literally messages them
everybody
only from Follow Up Boss because it makes the most sense. So then my team can go in as well. If a client calls and I'm unavailable, the team can answer, and they can also see the client's profile and all the notes I have written down, and they can help the client further.
Yeah. No, that's exactly how you should use those CRMs. There's so many people that don't understand and they don't put notes in. And every team that I've taught, including the team that you used to be on,
this lighting is kind of crazy. I'm noticing because I'm sorry. I'm white and you're orange. Did you notice that?
Why are we? Yes, I just started out by saying, why am I orange?
I just didn't notice how white I looked.
And how orange I look. Well, I am super dark, though, now, all of a sudden. Yeah, and you are super white. So I don't know why you're so white and I'm so orange because you're the one that But no, I'm dark. I'm super dark.
It's the lighting. We got really good lights
Yeah.
right above my head.
But it's being able to have those conversations and do exactly what you said. Put them in a CRM, not only so that you can remember, but so you can reference that stuff later. And here's what I love about Follow Up Boss: because it records all your phone conversations. I don't even type notes. I just say refer to the note here, and then I can hear it.
I know, it's so nice. And then you could just text people. People do prefer texting.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
There's so many of these that I want to go over. Shoot, we're running out of time here. Okay, I just want to go over this one.
Okay.
One of the things that a lot of brokers will say, we're number one in the nation. I don't know if this happened to you when you went to real estate school, but when I first got my license, one of the first trainings, literally one of the first trainings that I went to, they taught us, you should tell people that you're number one, because you're number one to somebody, even if you're the only agent on your team. And they used to tell us this: tell people that you're the number one team in the area, even if you don't have a team, even if it's you, yourself, and I. Did you ever get taught that?
I didn't get taught that, but I learned that you can say that.
It's wild to me.
I know. Because, okay, so you mentioned to me once, Johnny, we were going over scripts and we were doing script training. And you were kind of helping me with calling like expireds and for sale by owners. So I would look at like some scripts that were already made. Like there's Tom Ferry scripts. There's, Google, that's like way old, 20-year-old scripts, whatever. And a lot of the time it starts out by saying, Hi, I'm Summer. I'm actually the number one agent in your neighborhood or in our city of Lake Orion or Rochester, Michigan. I'm actually number one, and I'm just calling because I'm doing a quick survey of everybody. So I just lied twice, right?
Yeah.
I said I'm number one, and I'm not. But I can say that.
Nope.
But I can say that if I want. And then I also said I'm doing a quick survey of all the what's the script usually say?
I don't know, because
like
I never used it.
Like a survey of all the for sale or the whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
I'm surveying the whole neighborhood. Just so happens you're an expired listing. Because what I'm doing is I'm trying to capture you and I'm trying to reel you in a little bit. I'm not surveying the whole. I'm just. Did you do that?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was I thought it was a great effect for the.
But see, it's a lot. And so when you were training me, you were like, I don't know about you. You can, be the type of person that you want. You're going to learn your own way. You'll always put your own twist on things. And that's how people learn. But me personally, I'll never try to start a new relationship by lying.
Man, that makes my heart so happy that you remembered stuff like that.
No, yeah. So that's
it.
I totally agreed. When you said it like that and you put it that way, I've even shared this with my team leader. And I'm like, I don't know how we cold call, but I learned there's a way to lie and be deceitful and all those things, and I don't want to be that person.
Right? Yeah.
But yeah, it's and you can. That's what's so confusing and mind blowing is if you want, you could just sit there and reel someone in that way.
But why would you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I never understood that whole thing. And you know what the crazy thing is? Here's the crazy thing. People are so egotistical. Did you know that as a new agent getting started, you have more of a chance to, especially if it's a person of influence, mostly with a person of influence, you have more chance of winning them over stating that you're a brand new agent and that you need the help to do it than a seasoned pro coming in with the perfect plan for that person. Mm-hmm. It's one of the things that used to drive me nuts was that newbie new person, and I taught you that script too, right? Mm-hmm. Newbie new person could come in, and then all of a sudden their aunt, who's got the number one largest purchase they've ever made in their life, they're going to hand it over to their niece because their niece is getting started in real estate and they want to help them out. Meanwhile, some pro that knows exactly what needs to happen to the home to sell it for the most money, they're out of luck, right? It's such an advantage to the newer agent, but the people were like, nah, we don't want to do that. We'll just say we're the number one, this, that, or the other thing.
Yeah.
And it was that and FSBOs. The amount of agents that call FSBOs and say, well, I have a buyer for your home. I'd like to come by and see it.
Oh, yeah. It's a lie.
You don't have a buyer for your home.
Maybe the 2%.
Yeah.
But it's a script. It's a script that agents use and you're playing these people, and it
drives me nuts.
Doesn't feel right.
The first brokerage I ever started at, we were taught that, and then the person that was doing the trainings was like, if you need somebody to pretend to be a buyer, you can take me. And I was like, that is the
You're like,
worst.
hey, let's take this step or this lie a step further.
Yeah.
Like-
Let's show up.
Like, let's really get them. Let's get
and
them good.
really make them think that we have a buyer. Why would you
Yeah.
waste all that time and do all that?
Now you taught me the best line for FSBOs.
Yes. Good.
Have you held an open house?
Yeah.
If not, I'd love to come by free of charge. I'll hold an open house for you.
Yeah. How'd your open house go over the weekend?
Yeah.
That's it.
I love that one.
What
I
open
think
house?
it's great. Yeah.
Well,
Because
we
it's
need
like,
to talk.
It's a great way to get in. It's a great way to meet someone, but also like you're representing their house in like a great light and you're trying to get someone in there, but you're also getting something out of it because you're meeting, new people who are looking to buy a home actively. So I think that one's great. I love that one.
Man, we have so many of these to go through. We're gonna have to do a part 2 on this.
We could do that.
Because and maybe we'll do it for maybe we'll do it. I don't know what we're gonna do for next week, but we should do a part 2 because the next one that I wanted to talk about was what us individually real estate agents do and how we do things, and we started to get into it.
But
And
yeah,
I
we
got
don't have
so
time.
much about that. I
We
want to talk
can,
about the guaranteed sale gimmick that everybody does and how bait and switch pricing works. And oh man, I've got so many of these that I'm excited for, but unfortunately, we're out of time because right now, for today anyway, it's that time.
Oh, that's where I come in.
That is where you come in.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I have to hit the light, lock the door, pull the sign. We're ending open house podcast.
We'll see you next week, part 2. We're going to talk about scams and
All
sandwiches.
things alike. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.
Peace.